This sound was recorded at 2:41 am. It was captured inside a residential building that had no moving machinery. I was asked to examine it because the explanation was expected to be physical. The sound did not repeat, it did not echo, and it did not originate where witnesses believed it did. This is what was happening. This is Anomaly 001. The following entry documents an observed anomaly. The building was constructed in the late 1950s during a period when durability was prioritized over efficiency. Its design was conservative. Thick internal walls divided each floor. Stairwells were enclosed, corridors were narrow and linear, built to carry foot traffic, not sound. It had not been significantly altered since the completion. Renovations were minimal and did not affect the internal structure. From an engineering perspective, the structure was stable, predictable. There was no reason to expect irregular behavior of any kind. I had encountered the address before, though never in a formal report. It appeared intermittently in informal documentation connected to a recurring belief among residents. The belief was rarely stated directly. When it was mentioned, it was usually followed by a dismissal. That sound behaved incorrectly within the building. No one described a specific incident. There had been no damage, no injuries, no repeat events. The building functioned normally. The belief persisted without consequences. Its internal layout reinforced that expectation. Under ordinary conditions, sound should have traveled predictably. Stairwells would carry it vertically, corridors laterally. Solid internal walls would block most transmission. There were no open shafts or suspended cavities capable of distorting direction. In theory, nothing about the structure supported the belief. The incident occurred at 2:41 am on the third floor. Every resident woke at the same moment. There was no alarm, no impact strong enough to rattle fixtures, no visible disturbance, only a sound, brief, singular. It ended as abruptly as it began. Several residents reported hearing it from different directions. Some placed it above them, others below. Two described it as originating inside their own apartments. One resident recorded the sound on a handheld tape device. The recording did not correspond to any of the reported locations. Following its review, the building was evacuated for 6 hours. Not because of what the sound was believed to be, but because of what it could not be explained as. That was when the anomaly was formally recorded, and I was contacted. I spoke to the residents individually. Descriptions of the sound varied slightly in character. Some described it as abrupt, others as sustained. All agreed it was close. None reported panic. No one fled their apartment. They listened, they waited, then it stopped. Directional accounts conflicted, but confidence did not. One resident placed the sound near the stairwell, another near the rear corridor. A third insisted it came from above, despite living on the top floor. One account stood apart. A resident on the upper level insisted the sound came from behind a sealed section of the building. The area had been closed years earlier during renovation. According to the structure, sound should not have transmitted from that direction at all. I noted the inconsistency and continued. The building was inspected the following day. No damages found, no structural failure. However, review of the internal layout suggested a potential explanation for the broader confusion. A single mechanical action introduced at a specific point could plausibly travel along unintended pathways. Reflections of regular surfaces combined with enclosed corridors and stairwells could redirect sound in ways that were counterintuitive but consistent with known behavior. In confined environments, The brain reconstructs direction faster than it verifies it. Later that evening, I was approached by a graduate student who lived in the building. He was studying acoustics. He explained that he had been testing a hypothesis consistent with the behavior I had already identified. He believed a particular combination of internal surfaces could redirect sound along unexpected paths, creating the impression of directional contradiction. Late at night, assuming most residents were asleep, he attempted to reproduce the effect using a controlled mechanical action. The timing matched the reports. The experiment accounted for the sound's perceived proximity and the confidence with which direction was recalled. He stopped when he realized the response it had triggered. He apologized and left. No further sounds were reported. The cause was identified. The conditions were documented. There was no indication of malicious intent. From a practical standpoint, the case was resolved. There was one detail that did not align with the explanation. The sealed section of the building remained acoustically isolated. No structural feature accounted for sound transmission from that direction. The students' experiment did not reproduce it. The inconsistency did not alter my conclusion. It did not warrant further intervention. The anomaly was recorded. The file was closed.